5 million years ago, in a world raw and untamed, a small band of early humans stood at the edge of existence. They were not yet masters of the earth, but fragile sparks of life, bound by instinct and driven by the will to survive. In the vast savanna, under skies that burned with dawn and dusk, they faced a crucible of claws, fangs, and hunger. This is their story, a testament to endurance, woven from fear, loss, and the unyielding fire of survival. In the cradle of a merciless world, they awoke each day to a symphony of danger. The wind carried the growls of predators, the earth trembled under the weight of beasts, and the stars watched in silence. Yet within them burned a spark, a stubborn refusal to fade. They were not hunters, not yet, but scavengers of hope, clinging to each breath as if it were their last. Their days began with cautious steps across the grasslands, eyes scanning for food, a wounded antelope, a fallen fruit. Hunger gnawed at their bellies, urging them forward, but the wild was ever watchful. From the tall grass, amber eyes gleamed, and a saber-toothed cat lunged, its roar splitting the air. They scattered, hearts pounding, their cries lost in the wind. Some reached the safety of rocks, others stumbled, and the wild claimed its toll. Each loss was a wound, a silent grief carried in their eyes. They mourned beneath the stars, their hands clutching one another, knowing the night held no mercy. Yet dawn called them onward, to a river that promised life. They drank deeply, their laughter a fleeting spark, until the water erupted, a crocodile's jaws snapping, tearing flesh. They fought with stones and sticks, driving the beast back, but blood stained the bank, a reminder of the cost. In the forest's shadowed embrace, they sought refuge, climbing trees to scout for danger. But the wild was relentless. A leopard dropped from above, claws raking, screams piercing the canopy. They drove it off with desperate blows, but the price was paid in blood. They buried their fallen under leaves, their hands trembling, their resolve tested. Fire was their discovery, born from struck stones and dry grass. It danced in the dark, a shield against the cold and the eyes that circled their camp. Wolves prowled, drawn by the flames, their howls chilling the night. They thrust torches forward, singeing fur, shouting as one until the pack retreated. Fire was their ally, but it beckoned the hungry as much as it protected. Hunger drove them to boldness. They stalked a buffalo herd, using smoke to confuse their prey. But the wild was unforgiving. The herd stampeded, hooves shaking the earth. They dove for cover, but not all rose again. Broken bones and torn flesh marked their failure, yet they salvaged scraps, eating in silence as the wind howled their losses. Lions came next, a pride circling their meager camp. They stood together, wielding fire and noise, their defiance a raw cry against the night. The clash was brutal, blood spilled on both sides, and the wild took its share. They drove the lions back, but the cost lingered in their weary steps. Some among them faltered, wounds festering, steps slowing. One slipped away at dawn, drawing predators to save the others. Their sacrifice was a silent gift, a thread in the band's fragile tapestry. They pressed on, climbing a mountain's rocky path, seeking safety. A cave offered refuge, its cool walls a fleeting sanctuary. They huddled by their fire, its glow casting shadows of hope. But even the cave was not safe. A massive bear lumbered in, its roar shaking the stone. They fought with torches and spears, their unity, their strength. The bear retreated, but the lesson was clear. Safety was an illusion. They sharpened sticks into weapons, wove grass into nets, learning from each scar. When dire wolves surrounded the cave, they fought as one, their spears and cries forging a wall of defiance. The wolves fled, bloodied, and the band stood taller. As dawn broke over the mountain, they emerged, fewer but fiercer. The sun bathed them in light, their eyes burning with resolve. They were not conquerors, not yet, but survivors, carrying a spark that would one day light the world. Their losses were many, their victories small, but each step was a triumph, each breath a legacy. And so they walked on, into a world that sought to break them. They were the dawn of humanity, forged in the crucible of the wild, their story etched in the earth's bones. Their fire, their courage, their unyielding will, these were the seeds of all we are, a flame that endures through the ages. Subscribe now, or I'll send these lions after you.